You can feel the moment your power leaks out of the room. It happens when you soften yourself to be liked, when you laugh a little too hard at jokes that aren't funny, when you explain your boundaries like you're asking permission, when you avoid conflict even as someone crosses a line, when you nod, smile, and swallow the disrespect just to keep the vibe friendly. And then you notice something brutal. People stop taking you seriously. Not because they hate you, not because they're evil, because you taught them a lesson without realizing it. You taught them that your comfort matters more than your standards. You taught them that pressure works on you. You taught them that you'd rather be loved than respected. In work, this looks like the nice person getting overloaded. The boss dumps tasks on you because you never push back. Your coworker interrupts you because you don't punish it. Your name becomes synonymous with availability, not authority. In friendships, it looks like you becoming the one who always adjusts. You're the one who travels to them, waits for them, forgives them, explains yourself to them. You become reliable like a tool, useful but not admired. In dating, it looks like you trying to prove you're good, and the other person starts testing you. Little stings, little delays, little disrespect wrapped in humor, and you keep trying to win them back with effort. But effort is not power. Effort without boundaries is surrender. Here's the hard truth most people refuse to accept. Love is unstable. Love is mood-based. It's emotional weather. It changes with seasons, stress, new options, social influence. You can be loved on Monday and ignored on Friday. You can be loved while useful and forgotten when inconvenient. Respect is different. Respect is structural. It's built on competence, boundaries, consistency, things that don't depend on someone's feelings that day. Respect is what remains when the room is quiet and nobody needs anything from you. And fear, real fear, not childish intimidation, is leverage. It's the awareness of consequence. It's what makes people think twice before they cross you. It's what creates discipline around you. Not because they adore you, but because they understand. Actions here have a cost. But hatred is a death sentence. Hatred is not fear. Hatred is revenge energy. Hatred is when people don't just want distance from you, they want to see you fall. They want to damage your reputation. They want to recruit others against you. They want to get you back. Hatred makes people irrational, patient, and dangerous. It makes them smile in your face while building a knife behind their back. Machiavelli gave the cleanest warning in human history. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But he also warned the prince to avoid being hated, because a ruler can survive without love. A ruler can even survive with fear. But hatred turns your enemies into believers, and believers don't quit. So here's what we're doing in this video. We're building the triangle of social power. How to earn respect so your presence has weight. How to install healthy fear through consequence so people don't play with you. And how to avoid hatred so you don't create a silent army of revenge. And this is the part most people get wrong. They hear fear, and they think cruelty. They think aggression. They think humiliation. That's why they get hated. They try to be feared through ego, and ego always creates enemies. Real power is cleaner, it's quiet, it's consistent, it's law-like, it doesn't need theatrics. In the next section, I'll show you the difference between love, respect, and fear, and why the wrong currency always bankrupts you. And then we'll get tactical. How to create fear without hate, so people obey your boundaries without secretly wishing for your downfall. Most people walk through life using the wrong currency, then act shocked when they go bankrupt. They try to buy respect with kindness. They try to buy loyalty with sacrifice. They try to buy safety with being liked. And it feels noble until you realize the brutal truth. Love, respect, and fear are not the same currency. You can't pay with one and expect the other. Love is emotional attachment. It's warmth, it's closeness. It's the feeling that someone enjoys you, wants you around, roots for you. But love is unstable because it's mood-based. It rises and falls with stress, envy, temptation, convenience, and social influence. Love can be real and still disappear when your usefulness drops or your standards rise. Love is a beautiful thing, but it's not a foundation for power. It's weather. Respect is different. Respect is structural. It's what people feel when they recognize competence and boundaries in you. Respect is the weight behind your words. It's the sense that you are not easily moved, not easily pressured, not easily manipulated. Respect is built slowly through consistency, kept promises, clear standards, visible results. And unlike love, respect doesn't require someone to be in a good mood. A person can dislike you and still respect you. That's why it's stronger. Then there's fear, and most people misunderstand it because they've only seen childish fear, intimidation, yelling, threats, dominance games. That isn't fear, that's insecurity performing. Real fear is the awareness of consequence. It's simple, it's clean, it's not emotional, it's not loud. It's the quiet understanding that if someone violates a boundary, something changes. Access changes, opportunities change, proximity changes, the relationship adjusts. Fear creates discipline and distance. Not because people are terrified of you as a person, but because they understand there's a price for crossing you. Now here's the critical distinction. Fear can coexist with respect, but hatred cannot. Hatred forms when fear becomes personal and humiliating. Hatred forms when people feel trapped, robbed, or punished unfairly. Hatred forms when you embarrass someone publicly, when you attack identity instead of behavior, when you enforce rules selectively, when you punish from mood instead of principle. Hatred is not fear. It's revenge energy. It's when someone decides, consciously or not, I want you to lose. This is why Machiavelli's warning is so sharp. Yes, it's better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But the smart ruler avoids being hated because fear keeps people cautious. Hatred makes them patient. Hatred makes them organize. Hatred makes them smile while they wait for the moment to strike. Look at the difference in real life. A boss who is strict but fair is respected, sometimes feared in a healthy way. You know deadlines matter. You know excuses don't work. You know sloppy work gets corrected. But you don't hate them because the rules are consistent and the enforcement is clean. You might not love them, but you don't plot against them. You know where you stand. Now compare that to the boss who humiliates people in meetings, the boss who mocks mistakes, plays favorites, explodes emotionally, and makes punishment feel personal. That boss might create fear, but it's dirty fear. It turns into hatred. And hatred turns into sabotage. People do the minimum, gossip spreads, talent leaves, and someone eventually looks for a way to ruin them. Same in friendships. A friend with standards can say, don't talk to me like that, and if you keep doing it, they create distance. That's healthy fear, consequence. But a friend who shames you, insults you, keeps score, and punishes you with public embarrassment doesn't create respect. They create resentment. People don't feel corrected, they feel attacked. Same in relationships. A partner who enforces boundaries calmly, we can talk when it's respectful, I'm not doing threats, creates safety and respect. But a controlling partner who uses fear to trap you, monitoring, guilt, punishment, isolation, creates hatred, because the person feels imprisoned, not guided. And imprisoned people don't stay loyal. They stay until they can escape, and then they burn the bridge on the way out. So the triangle becomes clear. Love is warmth, respect is structure, fear is consequence. You need all three in the right proportions. Too much love without respect makes you soft. Too much fear without fairness makes you hated. Too much respect without warmth makes you distant and lonely. And the final insight, the one that changes how you move, is this. The key is to build fear through predictable consequence, not emotional aggression. Your boundaries must feel like law, not like mood. Law creates order, mood creates enemies. Next, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Machiavelli's method for creating fear without hate, so you gain authority without creating a silent rebellion around you. If you want people to respect you and fear crossing you, but never hate you, then your power has to feel like law, not like mood. That's the difference between authority and tyranny. Tyranny is emotional, it's impulsive, it's personal. Authority is consistent, predictable, and clean. It corrects behavior without humiliating the human. That's how you create fear without creating a revenge plot. Here's Machiavelli's method in 5 rules. Apply them anywhere: work, friendships, relationships, family, and you'll feel the room change. Rule 1. Be consistent. Random moods create hatred because people don't fear your standards, they fear your unpredictability. One day, you're warm. Next day, you're cold. One day, you let disrespect slide. Next day, you explode. That trains people to walk on eggshells, and eggshell environments breed resentment. Consistency creates authority because it makes your boundaries feel real. If you always respond the same way to the same behavior, people stop testing. They learn the map. This is the principle. Your reactions must be boringly repeatable, not because you're robotic, but because you're sovereign. A ruler who changes laws based on emotion becomes hated quickly. A ruler who enforces laws consistently becomes feared in a healthy way. Rule 2. Enforce privately, not publicly. Public humiliation creates enemies. Always. People can tolerate correction. They cannot tolerate shame. Shame doesn't teach, it poisons. If you correct someone in front of others, you might win the moment, but you buy resentment that matures quietly. The person smiles, nods, and then waits for the chance to repay you. So your discipline should be quiet. Pull them aside, lower your voice, keep it clean. That's not acceptable. Or, we need to address what happened. You're not trying to dominate them. You're trying to maintain standards without creating a public wound. In relationships, this matters even more. If you embarrass your partner in front of others, you create hatred. If you handle it privately, you preserve dignity and still enforce respect. Rule 3. Attack behavior, not identity. This is where most people become hated without realizing it. They don't correct behavior, they label the person. You're lazy, you're stupid, you're selfish. That's identity violence. Once you attack identity, people stop listening and start defending. And defensiveness turns into long-term hostility. Instead, you speak like a strategist. This doesn't work. That's not the standard. I'm not available for that. I won't continue if it stays disrespectful. Behavior is adjustable. Identity feels like a death sentence. Keep it behavioral, and you keep control without creating a war. Here's a microscript that saves lives socially. I'm not judging you. I'm saying this behavior can't continue. It's firm, but not degrading. It separates the person from the action. That's the line between fear and hate. Rule 4. Make consequences boring. This is the most Machiavellian rule because it removes drama. Weak people enforce boundaries with speeches. They argue, they threaten, they raise their voice. They want the other person to feel their anger. That creates theater, and theater creates hatred because it feels personal. Strong people enforce boundaries like a bank enforces rules. Calm, fast, non-emotional. If someone crosses a line, you don't erupt. You adjust access. You end the call. You leave the room. You stop the favor. You pause your response. You do it with a neutral tone, almost like you're stating the weather. Microscripts. Will continue when it's respectful. That's not acceptable. If it happens again, I'll remove access. I'm going to step away now. I'm not discussing this in that tone. And then the key. You follow through. Consequence without follow-through is a bluff. Bluffs invite more tests. Follow-through creates fear without hate because it's not emotional punishment, it's policy. Rule 5. Be useful and competent. This is the part insecure alpha types skip. They think fear comes from dominance. In reality, fear without competence makes you a clown with a whip. People comply temporarily, then they rebel. Competence earns respect. Respect makes your boundaries feel legitimate, and legitimate boundaries rarely create hatred because people can sense you're not doing it to feel powerful. You're doing it because you are powerful. Be the person who delivers, the person who's reliable, the person who's effective. When your competence is obvious, your firmness doesn't feel like bullying, it feels like leadership. People don't hate leaders who make things work. They hate fragile tyrants who need control to hide incompetence. Now add the social strategy that keeps you from becoming hated. Reward loyalty, keep rules clear, and give a path back. If you punish everything with exile, people feel trapped. Trapped people develop revenge fantasies. But if your rules are clear, here's what works, here's what doesn't, and there's a way to return, apologize, correct, show consistency, then your authority feels fair. Fairness prevents hatred. This is how you become the rare type, respected, slightly feared, never hated. Your presence creates order, not anxiety. Your standards create structure, not humiliation. Your consequences create discipline, not revenge. And now we enter the danger zone. Because even if you do everything right, there's one force you can't fully control: envy. The moment you rise, more power, more status, more results. Some people will start resenting you simply because your existence exposes their stagnation. In the final section, I'll show you how to avoid hatred when you rise, how to handle envy, rumors, and quiet sabotage without becoming paranoid or cruel, and how to stay untouchable without creating an army that wants to see you fall. You're not here to be loved by everyone. That's a child's dream, and it's also how adults get controlled. When you chase love, you become negotiable, you become predictable. You start bending your standards just to keep the room comfortable, and the room will take advantage of that every time. The goal is something colder, cleaner, and far more powerful. Authority that doesn't need violence. Machiavelli understood this like a surgeon understands anatomy. Love is unstable. It's emotional weather. Respect is structure. Fear is leverage. But hatred is the poison that turns people into patient enemies. So the sweet spot, the real throne, is fear without hate, consequence without cruelty, discipline without humiliation. boundaries without drama. When you operate like that, something rare happens. People may not always like you, but they take you seriously. They watch their tone. They measure their behavior. They stop assuming access. Not because you threatened them, but because you made your standards predictable and you made crossing you expensive. And you'll also notice the biggest psychological payoff. You stop needing to prove yourself. You stop arguing for your worth. You stop explaining your boundaries like you're asking permission to exist. Your life becomes quieter, cleaner, more stable, because you've eliminated the constant chaos that comes from being overly available. So, seal this identity. You can be a good person without being a soft target. You can be calm without being weak. You can be respected without becoming hated. Remember the rule that holds it all together. Be warm enough to be trusted, firm enough to be obeyed, and strategic enough to never be hated. Next video, we go one level deeper. How to punish disrespect calmly, without raising your voice, without speeches, without looking emotional. And after that, how to spot the signs someone secretly hates you before they move against you. Subscribe if you're building real authority. And if you want the uncensored power dynamics most people can't handle, you know where the join button is.